Thank you very much. Good morning, everyone in Bolivia. Good afternoon for you. So I would like to share our project, a part of our project, which is related with climate change and employment opportunities for quinoa in Bolivia. The studied region is in the Andean region of Bolivia, which has extremely harsh climate conditions for agricultural production. The altitude is around 4,000 meters above sea level with few rains. Temperature is between minus 11 degrees Celsius and 30 degrees Celsius and 200 days of annual frost. The soil is saline and sandy, has little organic matter as well as low water retention capacities, and it is very poor in nutrients. This region is also being seriously affected by climate change, with greater risk of droughts, frost, and high temperature, as well as with concentration of rainy periods. Projections for the region foresee an increase in temperature of at least 3 degrees Celsius and a reduction in rainfall of between 10% and 30% towards the end of this century. So this scenario has been further deteriorated in recent decades because quinoa production began to increase substantially due to the greater global demand, and from here the prices increased. So it implies in this region a crash of the ecosystem, with decrease in camelid livestock, which is very important for fertilization, a reduction of bashes, and a strong deterioration of soils with a sharp drop in fertility. Sharp deterioration in the livelihoods of small producers occur also. And in Bolivia, we had an agrarian reform in 1853. So the small farmers are also the owners of their lands. And for the quinoa production are around 70,000 producer families. Well, here I can show you some contrasting the soil fertility loss. We made in 2023, we could collect 75 samples, soil samples, and analyze the soil organic matter, and we found an average around 0.47, which implies that the 97% of these samples were considered very low. We also found another study in 2008 where the average of the soil organic matter was 2.74. And most of these samples were located in a moderate part, 53. So this change implied a reduction in yields, and with the falling prices since 2015, a sharp deterioration of agricultural labor income. So that's why we try to work with the producers. We are a think tank, so we generate extensive evidence in order to promote green jobs with sustainable agriculture, not only in the agricultural areas, but also related with social protection issues. And we made some research, modeling yield variability from simulation model. We implement sustainable practices trying to improve the soil fertility and measuring its cost effectiveness, measuring the carbon and water footprint, and supporting climate risk management. We did research and also actions in this project. I am going to share with you only two outcomes. One is that we developed an NLA crop model, and we apply this to the quinoa crop yield evaluation. And the goal of this model is to introduce a nonlinear methodology to simulate crop yields and evaluate different production outcomes under various climate agricultural management scenarios, including agroecological, climatic, and agroclimatic stress factors. So the methodology is nonlinear equation of the Gomper's type. This one, when the parameters A, B, and C change depending on the crop. So it approximates, the idea is to approximate the complex nonlinear function of the cycle, phenological cycle of the crops by showing simple linear segments, this one. And if you have this form, we can do various stress factors. In particular, what we did in the figure 2, we try to simulate how by implementing a best agricultural practice, how we can increase the yield of the quinoa. And as you see, this is about the we have some data about the implementation that we did after of increasing the yield by putting by increasing the soil fertility. And what we could find is that increase the yield around 39%, and you can see that. And we also can see some simulations related with climate change. For instance, here is the yield of the quinoa, no? And in we have 3 simulations. One is the current value of actually what is happening, and is this one. What would happen in 2023 to 2039, and that is this one. And at the end of in 2040 and 2050 is this one, no? The green, no, it's not green. Well, this one. Okay, what we see is, for instance, how is the change? This is the business as usual. Nothing is happening. So we have a decrease over time because of climate change, a decrease in 7% in business as usual. If we have, this is El Niño, that is a climate phenomenon that is very important in Bolivia. So with the phenomenon El Niño, it is the rain increase. So you can increase the productivity, but if occurs the Niña, this is the Niña, with droughts, this decrease over time. This is an example of what this model can do. And next, there is here an application. We work more than 2 years, and this is the stage that where we work. We began by working with quinoa producers. They are associated in the red quinoa. So I was talking all the stage that we made in order to increase the soil fertilization in this implementation. What is interesting, and I think is new, is we merge these the agronomic issues with the impact evaluation issues that in economics we use for many interventions related with social issues. this is a statistic tool, and we need to randomly choose some, in this case, some plots in order to, and we compare the treatment that we put there, the fertilization, and we compare with a control group that, but this is randomly, so it has a robust results statistically. So that's what we decided to do also in March, and then we follow with the process of all what it means to make compost, no, by stocking materials, start the composting, and so on. We also follow the producers over all the phenological cycle of the crop, and we finally evaluate the yield, systematize, and I make results. No? We produce 53 tons of compost to recover the soil fertility, and we follow the phenological cycle of these 20 plots, compared with those that don't have the treatment. Okay, and they are called control in economics. Yeah, and what we found is there were some plots that had better results, and these plots. In this plot, we can find that the average yield increased for 877 kilograms by hectare to 1,109, representing around 27 27 improvement, no, to because of the use of compost. For all the plots, we found a positive robust effect also. We use econometrics in order to do that. And we found that on average is it increased around 20%. The total, we also in the carbon footprint analysis, we did before and after the measure of the carbon footprint. So we could find that the total soil carbon sequestration increased 15 on average. No? This is some picture about the difference between the treatment and the control. No, the green one, they are the yields. No? These yields, and the lighted green are the potential. How could be done in without climate change and so on. This is our results. And lastly, in the econometrics, we can control for other variables. No? We can. And what was interesting is that these other variables affect the increase in the yields because of the implementation of best agricultural practices. And we found that the factors inherent to the plot, we found that compliance with the protocol is very important, because producers who follow the technical guidelines obtain better results. Also, the presence of producers is very important. A plot with constant supervision yields better than with sporadic or distant supervision. We also found some factor external to the plot. So rainfall increased the overall yields, marking a greater difference between treatment and control plots. And this, although this effect might not be linear, frost reduces the effect of treatment, although it is still superior to the control under intense frost. And winds decrease the effectiveness of the treatment, but this one exceeds the performance of the control in windy condition. So if you can see the project, this is the QR of the project, and I also talk very fast. There are in the team era very big, and I try to resume these two outcomes. Thank you very much.
Greetings, everyone. I should say something in Russian for the beginning. So, добрый вечер. I'm really pleased to be at your presence, and I sincerely extend my gratitude to the Institute of Oriental Studies. As you may know, I'm a student at Tomsk State University, and I'm working on Iran and Russia strategic partnership. And with a critical review, I believe that there are challenges in their relations. And during my research in past 2 years, I've been focusing in this field of interest. So my article here deals with the challenges between Iran and Russia in regional institutions and venues like SCO, Shanghai Cooperation Organization, EEU in Eurasian Economic Union, and mostly the BRICS group. And this is one of the challenges that affects Iranian and Russian partnerships, which according to politicians are growing, however, I believe in otherwise. So, about the problem statement, as you may know, during the past 10 years, Iran and Russia has increased their mutual cooperation in various fields, in politics, in security, military, and especially in economy. Despite challenges, but both countries are cooperating intensively, and we are about to identify what challenges have those countries or both countries been faced during their cooperations. And you can see that as players in these three groups, especially the BRICS, Iran and Russia has been cooperated, but there are challenges which should be dealt with. Despite the opportunities, their cooperation often faces obstacles and barriers, especially the sanctions, and we should analyze how sanctions can affect and what are the ramifications in their economic endeavors. And these challenges raise questions about the effectiveness and potential of the Iran and Russia economic partnership within the regional venues. I aim to identify and analyze the challenges, and the question I draw in this article was, what are these challenges and how do they affect the relations? About the importance, this research, this particular topic is important because it sheds light on how Iran and Russia can strengthen and their economic ties, because there are challenges. So if we identify the challenges, we may find solutions. It's a door to finding solution for challenges. And we know that both countries has decided willingly to increase the level of cooperation. So knowing the challenges and barriers are very important. With both nations facing external pressures, understanding their collaborative potential within organizations like BRIC, SCO, and EEU can offer insights, as I said, into how regional mechanisms contribute to broader economic stability and development. And contribution. I want to explain how my research contribute to the existing field of knowledge, by offering a detailed analysis of Iran-Russia economic relations in multilateral setting, highlighting the role of regional organizations in fostering economic cooperation among member states, providing actionable recommendations for policymakers. Because when we see how where we are weak, we have a chance to compensate for it and find solutions by enriching the academic discourse on the interplay between national economic policies and regional integration. And let's go to the results and findings of the research. This is the essence of my research. I recognized that primary obstacles between Iran and Russia in BRICS, in Eurasian Economic Union, and in Shanghai Cooperation Organization is economic sanctions on Iran. You know, the most important barrier between Iran and Russia to extend their level of cooperation is sanctions. This is not Iran which is sanctioned. Russia is sanctioned too, but its solution to deal with these sanctions, which I have worked on it in previous research, has brought result, significant result. But in case of Iran, we have challenges which genuinely affects this relation with Russians. We have outdated infrastructure in terms of Iran. You know, I live in Gilan province. It is bordering Caspian More, the Caspian Sea, and I have seen the Russian ships, the trains, the cargoes, and I have first-hand experience about the limitations. There are long line of trucks which cannot pass the borders. There are a shortage of fleets. There are shortage of infrastructures. So first, Iran and Russia need to concentrate on extending the potential, material potential for cooperation, transition, and this kind of issues. Another problem is limited access to modern technology, which really hinders the deeper integration. Iran has shortcomings in terms of technology and manpower and other potentials. So these are among the problems. Additionally, there are other geopolitical and political issues. For example, geopolitical tensions and differing economic priorities. It is important, and I will explain how, between this state, which creates barriers to seamless collaboration. About the sanctions and economic solutions, you know, isolation, sorry. Both Iran and Russia has been sanctioned, and this has, these Western punitive measures has affected their scope of cooperation, especially about Iran after 2012. It was very devastating for the economy. It created inflation and other domestic problems. It is natural that it genuinely affect the prospect of Iranian role in BRICS, EU, and SU. This constraint manifests through restricted trade, investment, and financial cooperation. I will explain how the low level of economic foreign cooperation could lead to a weak mutual or reciprocal cooperation in other fields. Let's analyze, let's compare the figures. You know, this is a chart which identifies shows the trajectory of Iranian trade flows and the total trade turnover with BRICS member states between 2015 and 2021. You can see that they start in 2015 with the level of $46,157 million, right? And as we can see here, in 2018, after United States withdrew from the nuclear deal, you can see the effect of extended sanctions of Iranian economic relations with the BRICS member. You know, see, the figures is speaking about the problems, the effect of politics on economy. And let's see another example, Iranian trade flow and total trade turnover with SCO member. And you can see again, in 2017 and after 2018, we can see a clear decrease of the level of economic cooperation. When a country gets weaker, its economic potential gets decreased. So there is no promising prospect for further economic and financial cooperation. This is a challenge. And next, but the EU is very interesting. Everything is in opposite. You can see that after 2015, Iran started actually in a flat direction. The direction is flat. But after 2020, you can see that the level of mutual cooperation, reciprocal cooperation has increased. And this is mostly because of increased Iranian and Russian trade, because Russia is one of the two main actually foreign partners of Islamic Republic of Iran. Another factor, geopolitical divergences. Iran and Russia are close, are trying to be partners, but they have essentially different viewpoints about international order, international system, and this is rooted in their ideology and their, roots of, the ideas of the ruling elites. You can see while Iran and Russia share some strategic interests, their regional ambitions can sometimes conflict. Despite cooperating in Syria, there have been problems between the two countries. This is one example. In the Middle East and Central Asia, both countries have overlapping spheres of influence, which lead to competition rather than cooperation within multilateral framework. Last night or the day before that, Donald Trump and Mr. Putin agreed that Iran can't reach to a level of power that can destroy Israel, right? This is one friction between Iran and Russia. Russia believes there should be a solution for Israeli-Palestinian problem. Iran insists in destroying Israel, and so there is no prospect of cooperation. This causes economy. Conflicting regional priorities, differing security perspective, and diverse national interests lead to challenges that can inhibit effective collaboration. Next, institutional and procedural challenges. Let me tell you something interesting. China was not agree to Iran be joined to this economic cooperation and this organization. For example, in BRICS, Russia tried a lot to let Iran join. And it was Russia who helped Iran to find a seat and be a permanent member in BRICS. So it is because of the Russian perspective and their interest. Organizations like SCO and BRICS have complex institutional frameworks that require consensus among member states. Russia tried to convince China to accept Iran. Iran's accession to this organization has faced delays due to procedural hurdles and oppositions from some member states, as I said. Next, infrastructure and connectivity issues I already explained. The lack of modern infrastructure, such as transport and logistic networks, hinders economic integration projects, but it is very important, especially for Russia. Projects like International North-South Transport Corridor aims to address this, but delays and insufficiencies remain a significant obstacle. Iran has not enough money to invest in this corridor. So with the help of Russia, it is building railroads to transport the Russian cargoes to India. And economic misalignment. Iran and Russia have different economic priorities and strategies. They even have rivalries in some fields. While Russia focuses on energy export, which is very important for its economy, Iran seeks a technology transfer and investment. Especially investment is very important for Iran, but Russia has a shortage of money for some cases. It couldn't be sufficient. Its investment couldn't be sufficient for Iranian need. This misalignment can complicate joint initiatives within this organization. The INSTC railroad has not been completed because of the Russian shortage of funds because of its sanctions. And lastly, external pressures. The influence of external powers, particularly Western countries like United States and EU, has affected Iran's cooperation with Russia. This external pressure exacerbates existing challenges and limits the scope of Iran-Russia cooperation. And let's conclude. This obstacle highlights the complexities of fostering deeper collaboration between Iran and Russia within the multilateral frameworks. Overcoming these challenges to address shared concerns requires, first, strategic planning. All politicians should realize that there should be planning dedicated to dealing with the challenges. Mutual understanding. Iran and Russia must agree on their mutual goals and work to develop them. And lastly, leveraging the strengths of regional organization. Despite obstacles, despite barriers, there are still hope to cooperation, because there are fields that Russia needs Iran and there are reasons that Iran needs Russia. So this cooperation must go on, and by finding the challenge and problems, we can contribute to extend knowledge and support our politicians to find solutions to their relations. Thank you so much for being patient and tolerating my English. And if there is any vopros, I will gladly answer. Thank you.
I'm very glad to attend this meeting. Yeah, so this first time I attended the international meeting, I'm very happy. And also I cooperated with our three excellent foreign students to finish this paper. The students come from Russia, so I'm glad to cooperate with them. Yeah, so first I will introduce our university. Yeah, you know, our university name is the Zhejiang University of Finance and Economics. So so you can see our university foreign students. Yeah, they learning in our school and visiting some factories, some company. Yeah, so you can see they are very happy to visit the companies. Yeah, and also there's my information, my phone number and email, and our student email. If you want to contact with us, you can send an email to us. And here I also want to introduce our city, Hangzhou. Yeah, so you can see the picture. It's very beautiful. Yeah, so I hope I welcome you can visit our university and Hangzhou's our university and Hangzhou city. Yeah. Okay, so now we back to the our topic. Yeah. Our topic, I think, is about the impacts of U.S. trade protection policy on China's trade cooperation with other emerging economies, including BRICS. So you know BRICS, yeah, it's also the emerging economies. Yeah. So first. This our outline. Yeah, our lecture including 5 parts. Yeah. So the first part is about the introduce of U.S. protection policies. Yeah. And the second part, we will introduce the China's trade cooperation and FDI cooperation since 2015. Yeah. And the third part, we talk about how the impact of U.S. protection policy. I think in the third part, I will talk about U.S. trade protection policy will accelerate the cooperation between China and other emerging economies. Yeah. The fourth part, I will introduce the opportunity and the challenges of cooperation between China and other emerging economies. The final part, I will introduce give some suggestion how to promote the cooperation between China and other emerging economies. Yeah. So first, so you can see, yeah, now this year is the second term of U.S. President Trump's administration. Yeah, but you know, in 2017, it's the first term. Yeah, first term. And I think in the first term, in 2017, President Trump proposed American First. Yeah, American First. I think it's this is the core. I think the core trade policy. Yeah. So in the second term of Mr. President Trump, he also proposed American First as his trade policy. Yeah, you can see just this year, the beginning in from January, January 20, the President Trump signed the American First trade policy. I think this American First trade policy is its main policy, trading policy. And on February first day, 2025, American U.S. government imposed a 10% tariff on Chinese exporting goods. Yeah, and March 3rd, it also announced an additional 10% tariff on Chinese goods. And February 21st, U.S. government also signed a policy, America's priority investment policy. So this policy limited U.S. company investor in China, especially limited high technology company investor in China. It also limited Chinese company investor in USA. Yeah. So not only U.S. governments imposed tariff on China, it also imposed a 25% tariff on steel and aluminum products. Yeah. So what's this mean? I think in the second term of President Trump administration, it's just focused on American growth. They do not care about other countries' economy. So he wanted to more protection. He just wanted to other investor in USA. He do not like U.S. company investor in other countries. So our topic is about how about the effects with this U.S. protection policy. Okay. So first, second, we just reviewed China's trade development since 2015. Yeah. So here, this table one just showed the proportion goods exports to partners in China's total goods exports. So this data can show the change or the development Chinese exporting partners. Yeah, the changing. So you can see first, since 2015 to 2024. Yeah, for example, in 2015, 80% goods exports from China to USA. So USA market share is for China is 18%, and then it's increased in 90%, 90.24%, 90.24% in 2018, and after the trade war between China and the U.S., then the USA market share for Chinese China company is decreasing. So this means, for example, in 2024, the market share for Chinese company is just only 14.67%. That means the importance decreasing. U.S. market importance decreasing for Chinese company. Yeah. So, and also at the same time, but the Chinese improve the cooperation with other with other countries, especially new emerging economies. For example, you can see since 2015, exports to Russia, the proportion Chinese goods, the proportion to Russia increased. So you can see since 2015, the proportion exports to Russia in China's total goods exports increased from in 2015 it's just 1.53%, but in 2024 it's increased to 3.23%. Yeah, so that means China improved cooperation, exports improved cooperation with Russia, not only with Russia, but also with Central Asia countries, for example, Kazakhstan and Kyrgyzstan and Uzbekistan. Yeah, so these 5 countries, China's export products, the proportion increased. Yeah. Okay, this picture just show China's exports proportion to other emerging economies. For example, Southeast Asia countries. Yeah, Southeast Asia countries. Yeah, it's the bigger, I think the most important partner, exporting partner with China. Yeah, and you can see the Mexico. Yeah, Mexico, China. Since 2015, China exports more products to Mexico. So Mexico, the proportion exporting Mexico increased from 1.49% increased to 2.52% in 2024. Yeah. Okay. The second table just shows the imports. Yeah, imports from partners to China. So you also can find the similar findings. So since 2015, imports from USA, the proportion decreased. So you can see in 2015, the proportion imports from USA is 9.62%. But in 2024, the proportion decreased to 6.63%. Yeah, but at the same time, China imports more the proportion imports from other partners, for example, Russia, from it's increased. Yeah, in 2015, the proportion imports from Russia is just 2.17%, but in 2024, the imports proportion from Russia is 5.24%. So that means I think not only exports to Russia, but also imports from Russia. All of the market, the proportion, the trade proportion increased between China and Russia. It's also I think it's also the same situation for other emerging economies. Okay. And the third table just show the FDI. You know, FDI, that means foreign investments, direct investments. I think today more and more countries like FDI more than trade. Yeah. So the third table just show China's outward foreign direct investment stock in partners. So you can see since 2015 to 2023, yeah, China also increased their investment in USA. Yeah, it's so why China also increased their investment in USA? I think the reason just because the trade barriers. Yeah, because China and the USA imposed the tariff barriers. So this forced some Chinese company to invest in USA because they do not want to lose USA markets. So some Chinese company began increased investment. So China not only increased the investment in USA, but they also increased the investment in Russia and other emerging economies. So my conclusion is that U.S. protection policy will accelerate Chinese cooperation with other emerging economies, because now China and the U.S. To do business with the USA is very difficult. So Chinese company wanted to find other business partners. So I think in the future they maybe shift their business from USA, but they change it. They look for more other partners, just like maybe Russia and other Central Asia countries. Yeah, and the other very important conclusion is I think in the future Chinese company maybe want to invest more. They do not maybe choose exporting or importing. Because investments, foreign investments may increase the benefits to two countries, not only China but also their partners. So I guess in the future FDI may be more favorable than exporting and importing. And also I have some suggestion, how to improve the cooperation. I suggest, for example, we can increase the investments in some new areas, just like a new energy investment and digital economy investments. So these new areas maybe improve the cooperation between China and other emerging economies. So this is my topic. Thank you.
So this is about economic cooperation and strategy of geopolitical potential BRICS and Indonesia. From the introduction, since being declared an official member of BRICS, Indonesia is a main partner country, has been actively involved in political trade and economic collaboration with BRICS, and also BRICS plus country. This is in line with the principle of Indonesia foreign policy, which address to the principle of free active politics. By joining this alliance, Indonesia certainly has positive impact in the field of geopolitical roles and global diplomacy for both parties, which Indonesia and BRICS itself. This opportunity can make a market diversification and also investment opportunity, as well as alternative financing, accompanied by economic strengthening through a new banking system. what we believe. In the recent decade, change in the global economic and political landscape have led us to the emerge of new power outside the dominance of the Western country, of course. One important phenomenon in this multipolar world order is BRICS and BRICS Plus, of course, organization, which consists developing country with rapid economic growth and increasing geopolitical influence. This group not only aimed to strengthen economic cooperation among its members, but also challenge global structure that has been dominated by United States. We also believe that BRICS has become one of the primary movers in reforming global economic order through its new banking system, new funding system, the new development bank. And it can minimize dependence on US dollar, especially for Indonesia itself. So why Indonesia? As the one of Southeast Asia largest country and also economic, Indonesia holds a crucial place in the global economics and geopolitics in its region, in Southeast Asia region. After joining BRICS, Indonesia is considering as a strategic decision. Indonesia considering strategic decision and provide major benefit for Indonesia and BRICS itself. In other hand, major contribution that BRICS can make to Indonesia economy is through the, like I said before, new development bank, and also financing infrastructure project in developing country, which is like Eastern Indonesia that need help from the outside of the world. So we are discussing about what is Indonesia benefit with joining the BRICS. New development bank. Its notable benefits, it's gaining access to alternative funding through the new development bank was established to become a better alternative to the World Bank through its environmentally sustainable and effectively lending and financing. Indonesia gained opportunity through NDB and gained funding big project without full reliance on traditional such as IMF and also the World Bank. Strengthen financial independence and supporting sustainable development at the same time. And also Indonesian strategic position in the global geopolitical sector. In the other benefit of joining BRICS is BRICS currency. One aspect that increasingly attractive attention of BRICS is the plan to launch the new currency. We believe that with this new currency, it can reduce our dependency, Indonesia dependency on US dollar, which has so far dominated our country and also the international system. The launch of the BRICS currency has potential have significant impact on the rupiah, our currency exchange rate, with the rupiah exchange rate, and stability of the Indonesia economic as a whole. We also have a strategy with joining BRICS. Our strategy is the significance of collaboration with BRICS, of course, as developing nation. BRICS representing over 40% of global population and contributing more than 25% of worldwide GDP. This can be very helpful for Indonesia to opening a new market, also in vice versa, like BRICS can open the new market in Indonesia, and also Indonesia can make a new market in BRICS, especially BRICS country. Like right now, we have a really potential market with China in the nickel and also any other goods like to be exported. The second strategy is reducing geopolitical conflict. The tension between the United States and China, for example, it's really disruptive for our country because we also have a good relationship with China and also good relationship with United States. Not really good, but yeah, because of that trade war, it makes our economy go down very bad. By joining BRICS, we can maintain an excellent relation, of course, with the BRICS country and also with another side of the world, that Indonesia can harness and combine strength of this country, less than dependence on the big country that may have political economic objectives that are so necessarily in accordance with Indonesian interests. And last but not least, our strategy is for diminishing reliance on US dollar. Once again, by joining BRICS, we have a huge hope for this organization and new currency of BRICS to make us better than when we using a US dollar. Indonesia can exploit this cooperation to build financial resilience and decreasing of the risk associated with exchange volatility. For example, Indonesia can cooperate with BRICS and building an alternative payment system and lower the usage of US dollar in commercial transactions, both between BRICS and also with other countries. For the conclusion, Indonesia economic security is completely impacted by the BRICS economy dynamics. Cooperation with BRICS country offer considerable prospects such as greater commerce, income diversification, and access to infrastructure financing through the new development bank. However, concerns such as trade competitiveness, rupiah exchange rate, instability due to debut of the new BRICS currency, and the rise of dependence on foreign finance require caution of moderation. Policy priorities should include increasing the capacity of the technology-based business and renewable energy. Not than that, both sectors have considerable potential to increasing global competitiveness while promoting national economic security. In addition, the framework of cooperation with BRICS should focus on financing strategic infrastructure that has direct influence to engaging the national product. That's all for me. Thank you for your attention.
The topic of my research is investments in BRICS energy, the role of national and international financial institutions. To begin with, I would like to say that energy sector is a key driver of economic growth and strategic stability, particularly for the dynamically developing economies such as BRICS member states. Investment in energy is crucial due to the global transformations in energy markets, the transition to a low-carbon economy, and changes in the geopolitical environment. Both national and international financial institutions play a vital role in ensuring sustainable investments, supporting the modernization of traditional energy infrastructure, and facilitating large-scale development of renewable energy sources. This presentation will explore the energy profile of BRICS countries, the role of financial institutions, and key challenges and prospects for energy financing. The BRICS energy landscape is highly diverse, reflecting both traditional energy dependence and the shift towards renewable energy sources. Russia, Iran, the United Arab Emirates, Indonesia, and South Africa hold the largest reserves of conventional energy sources. On the slide, you can see that that Russia, Iran, United Arab Emirates, Indonesia, and South Africa possess mostly traditional energy resources, and China, India, Brazil, Egypt, and Ethiopia tend to develop the renewable energy sources. And China and India are the leaders in the sphere of RES. Despite their historical reliance on fossil fuels, BRICS states are striving to diversify and modernize their energy sectors. Attracting investments is crucial for advancing renewable energy sources and strengthening energy security, a process in which financial institutions play a key role. And now I would like to show you the table of national financial institutions by each BRICS countries. The objectives of national institutions are supporting strategic energy projects, developing renewable energy sources, and investing in sustainable energy initiatives. For example, the China Development Bank invests over $10 billion annually in hydropower and nuclear projects. India's Power Finance Corporation allocated $3.2 billion in 2024 for solar energy expansions, while the United Arab Emirates Masdar Foundation supports green projects within BRICS countries and beyond. For example, this fund financed the solar power plant in Egypt, which is the largest solar power plant in Africa and the fourth in the world. And the continuation of the table. Thus, we can see that the energy investments priorities of BRICS countries show a diverse approach to sector development. Most nations focus on renewable energy, for example, Brazil and Ethiopia emphasizing hydropower, while Russia and Iran maintain strong investments in oil and gas spheres. Funding primarily comes from the state banks and national development funds, such as China Development Bank or Power Finance Corporation in India. But the United Arab Emirates are more take a more commercialized approach. Also, we can see the regional priorities. For example, Asian countries as China, India, and Indonesia pursue a balanced energy mix. African nations focus on modernization and sustainability, while the Middle Eastern countries combine fossil fuels with renewable investments. Now we are moving towards the international financial institutions. These structures promote renewables and improving energy security. The key players are, of course, the New Development Bank of BRICS, World Bank, Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank, Islamic and African Development Banks. The major investment areas also are renewables, traditional energy, and infrastructure. For example, in 2024, the New Development Bank allocated $1.5 billion for solar energy projects in Brazil, while the Asian Investment Bank invested $2.3 billion in India's hydroelectric modernization. Also, the New Development Bank prioritizes solar and wind projects across major BRICS economies, emphasizing sustainability. The World Bank targets energy modernization and rural electrification in developing BRICS nations such as Indonesia, Ethiopia, and Egypt. And the most important international financial institute is clearly the New Development Bank of BRICS, which actively supports the transition of the participating countries to low-emission development by financing projects in the field of renewable energy, energy efficiency, and sustainable infrastructure. The bank provides the BRICS countries with the opportunity to finance not only individual programs, but also entire sectors of the economy based on the principles of fairness and transparency, without political bias. This increases the credibility of the New Development Bank, attracts new participants, and expands its influence, contributing to the reform of the global financial system. But there are several challenges that BRICS countries meet while invest in their energy sectors. These are geopolitical instability and sanctions. For example, Russia and Iran suffer hardly from the economic sanctions. Infrastructure deficits in countries as Ethiopia, Indonesia, and Egypt. There are a lack of necessary infrastructure to provide the electricity, for example, to the rurals. Also, there are limits in private capital access because the energy sector is most invested by the state institutes, and then the private ones, they are limited. But there are also opportunities in investments to energy sector of BRICS countries, such as developing alternative financial mechanisms, attracting private capital, and fostering technological collaboration. In conclusion, I would like to say that investments in the energy sector of the BRICS countries are an important factor in sustainable development. The national institutes finance energy modernization, but it is difficult to implement such projects without international structures. Energy systems of the BRICS countries are on the stage of active transformation, notwithstanding on historical dependence often on traditional resources. The states strive to diversify and modernize their energy sectors. BRICS has already demonstrated the potential to create alternative financial mechanisms, such as the New Development Bank. Further coordination between the countries will strengthen energy security, increase the level of investments in renewable energy sources, and strengthen the associations of the groups, position in the global market. That's all I wanted to say. Thank you for your attention.
Здравствуйте, уважаемые члены комиссии, коллеги и участники конференции. Спасибо большое за возможность участвовать сегодня, выступать. Тема моего доклада – современное состояние водных ресурсов в Республике Казахстан в контексте достижения целей устойчивого развития и роль экологического аудита. На 10-й встрече министров окружающей среды БРИКС, состоявшейся 28 июня 2024 года, обсуждались важные инициативы, направленные на решение глобальных экологических проблем, включая партнерство экологических устойчивых городов БРИКС, программу «Чистые реки БРИКС», роль молодежи в решении экологических проблем, развитие лесного хозяйства и адаптацию к изменению климата. И заместитель министра окружающей среды Арабских Эмиратов отметил, что инновации и международное сотрудничество являются ключевыми факторами в борьбе с изменением климата. Это подчеркивает значимость глобального взаимодействия в решении экологических вызовов, включая управление водными ресурсами, и государства БРИКС активно участвуют в достижении глобальных целей, уделяя особое внимание экологической устойчивости и адаптации к изменениям климата. Казахстан, как часть глобального экологического сообщества, также принимает активное участие в реализации экологических стратегий и программ, направленных на оптимизацию использования водных ресурсов. И то, что я хотела сказать, цели устойчивого развития – это набор утвержденных Организацией Объединенных Наций глобальных задач, направленных на улучшение жизни людей и защиту планеты. Эти цели включают в себя такие амбициозные цели, как борьба с бедностью, голодом, обеспечение здоровья и образования, снижение неравенства, обеспечение чистой воды и санитарии, и борьба с изменениями климата. Государства БРИКС стремятся активно участвовать в достижении этих целей и внести свой вклад в устойчивое развитие. Одной из ключевых областей сотрудничества между странами БРИКС является борьба с изменением климата и экологическая устойчивость. Экологический аудит, он представляет собой независимую комплексную оценку, которая анализирует, насколько деятельность организаций или государственных органов соответствует экологическим требованиям, целям и политикам. За счет этого государство может получать независимую и достоверную оценку своих экологических показателей и принимать обоснованные управленческие решения в области экологии. И в Казахстане экологический аудит также является одним из важнейших инструментов охраны окружающей среды и устойчивого развития. Он направлен на Он направлен на оценку воздействия предприятий на окружающую среду, проверку соблюдения требований законодательства и разработку рекомендаций по снижению экологического ущерба. Экологические проблемы страны тесно связаны с экономикой, социальной политикой и государственным управлением. Глава государства Касым-Жомарт Токаев в своих выступлениях неоднократно подчеркивал важность развития экологического аудита как механизма обеспечения прозрачности, ответственности бизнеса и рационального природоиспользования. Рабочая группа «Планета», то есть международный опыт показывает, что успешная реализация целей устойчивого развития способствует решению экологических проблем, обеспечивая комплексный подход к управлению природными ресурсами. И в странах, где устойчивое развитие стало основной государственной политикой, наблюдаются положительные изменения в снижении выбросов парниковых газов, улучшение качества воды и воздуха, а также увеличение доли возобновляемых источников энергии. И у нас для корпорации усиления по достижению целей устойчивого развития в Казахстане создана специальная институционная структура. В 2018 году постановлением правительства была организована система из 5 межведомственных рабочих групп, охватывающих разные измерения устойчивого развития. Это люди, процветание, планета, мир и партнерство. Одной из значимых групп является рабочая группа «Планета», и деятельность которой направлена на сохранение окружающей среды и устойчивого управления природными ресурсами. В рамках данной рабочей группы приоритетными направлениями являются вот следующие. Это цель устойчивого развития номер 6, чистая вода и санитария. ЦУР номер 12, ответственное потребление и производство, борьба с изменениями климата, сохранение морских экосистем и сохранение экосистем суши. Деятельность этой рабочей группы направлена на разработку и внедрение стратегий, способствующих достижению устойчивого баланса между экономическим ростом и сохранением экосистем. И экологический аудит играет в этом процессе ключевую роль, поскольку позволяет не только выявлять проблемные аспекты воздействия хозяйственной деятельности на окружающую среду, но и формировать научно обоснованные рекомендации для государственных органов и бизнеса. Я подняла в этом вопросе водные ресурсы. Цель номер 6 – обеспечение наличия рационального использования водных ресурсов и санитарии для всех, так как водные ресурсы являются критически важным элементом устойчивого развития, обеспечивающим экономическую стабильность. И основные факторы, усугубляющие дефицит водных ресурсов, включают нерациональное водопользование, истощение подземных вод, недостаточное развитие инфраструктуры и последствия изменений климата. И по данным ООН, свыше 800 миллионов человек сейчас не имеют доступа к безопасной питьевой воде. Несмотря на многие существующие механизмы управления, во многих регионах Казахстана наблюдается дефицит как поверхностных, так и подземных вод. Тем не менее, текущая система водного регулирования позволяет удовлетворять основные потребности страны в водных ресурсах, и обеспечение доступа к чистой воде и эффективное управление водными ресурсами являются ключевыми аспектами цели устойчивого развития. И сейчас в рамках ООН на повестке дня периода до 2030 года данный показатель включает задачи по обеспечению универсального доступа к безопасной питьевой воде, улучшение санитарных условий, а также повышение эффективности управления водными ресурсами. Это мы можем увидеть. Доля населения, имеющего доступ к услугам центрального водоснабжения, это данные 2015, 2018 и 2021 года. Дальше этот график демонстрирует устойчивое снижение общего водопотребления на единицу ВВП в период с 2004 по 2023 год. Дальнейшее снижение водопотребления на единицу ВВП требует дополнительных мер, так как развитие инновационных технологий водоочистки, повышение эффективности сельского хозяйства, более активное внедрение принципов циркулярной экономики и расширение практики повторного использования воды. Дальше я хотела также сказать про ЦУР, цели устойчивого развития номер 14 именно в Казахстане. так как мировой океан, являясь мощным регулятором климата и погоды нашей планеты, играет огромную роль для природы и человека, и рациональное использование ресурсов мирового океана и решение проблемы его загрязнения – это залог жизни всего человечества и его устойчивого будущего. Океаны занимают 3/4 поверхности Земли, содержат 97% водных запасов Земли и занимают по объему 99% всей общей планеты. И они поглощают около 30% производимого людьми углекислого газа, содействуя нейтрализации последствий глобального потепления. И Казахстан, он уязвим к последствиям изменения климата, уже наблюдаются участившиеся засухи, опустынивание пастбищ и таяние горных ледников, которые питают реки. И в 7 из 17 регионов отмечены серьезные проблемы с пустыней, напрямую связанные как с климатом, так и с нерациональным землепользованием. И среди конкретных мер я предлагаю развитие возобновляемой энергии. Например, Германия, они демонстрируют значительные успехи в сокращении выбросов парниковых газов, что делает ее опыт ценным для стран, стремящихся к устойчивому развитию, включая и Казахстан. И в 2024 году Германия сократила выбросы парниковых газов на 4% в сравнении с предыдущим годом, достигнув 649 миллионов. Здесь мы можем видеть Аральское море. Это несмотря на то, что Казахстан не имеет прямого выхода к Мировому океану, на территории находятся крупные водоемы Каспийское море и часть бассейна Аральского моря, поэтому страна реализует собственные стратегии охраны водных экосистем. Государственное мониторинговое агентство Казгидромет осуществляет регулярный контроль качества окружающей среды, включая состояние внутренних вод. Аральское море, оно представляет собой наглядный пример экологической катастрофы, и последующие попытки возобновления водной экосистемы, например, еще в середине 20 века Арал был 4-м по площади озером в мире, однако чрезвычайный забор воды и питающих его рек, например, Амударья, Сырдарья, ради трофическому усыханию века Аральское море потеряло около 90% своего объема воды, и центральная часть дна бывшего моря превратилась в соленую пустыню Аралкум, откуда ветры поднимают солончавую пыль и остатки удобрений, разнося их на сотни километров. И за последние, например, 60 лет произошло существенное ухудшение экологического состояния Аральского моря, так как площадь водной поверхности сократилась с 67 тысяч километров в 1960 году до 8 тысяч километров. И в 2020 году, что свидетельствует о том, что мы потеряли около 80% первоначальной площади объема. И проведенный анализ показывает, что экологический аудит, он выступает важным инструментом, обеспечивающим устойчивое развитие и защиту окружающей среды. В Казахстане, так как и в других странах, экологический аудит способствует выявлению экологических рисков, контролю над соблюдением природоохранного законодательства и выработке эффективных мер по минимализации воздействия производственной деятельности на окружающую среду. И в Казахстане создана основа принятой стратегии, реализуется программа, растет сеть, появляются зеленые проекты, и экологический аудит и мониторинг дополняют эту картину, выявляя, насколько эффективно идут преобразования. И международный опыт также демонстрирует, что мы можем снизить выбросы парниковых газов, рационализировать использование водных ресурсов. Да, и таким образом дальнейшее развитие экологического аудита и более глубокая интеграция целей устойчивого развития в национальной стратегии будут способствовать улучшению экологической ситуации, обеспечиванию устойчивых экосистем и повышению качества жизни населения Казахстана. И итоговый вывод заключается в том, что при последовательной реализации предложенных мер и рекомендаций, подкрепленной надежной системой аудита, Казахстан имеет имеет все возможности значительно продвинуться в достижении экологических целей устойчивого развития, внося свой вклад в глобальную повестку устойчивого развития. И для Казахстана следующими практическими шагами должно быть стать применение лучших практик, научно обоснованное планирование и жесткий контроль соблюдения экологических норм, участие общественности и прозрачность данных. Это позволит не только уберечь уникальную природу океанов и морей, но и обеспечить экологичную безопасность, продовольственную стабильность и благосостояние людей. Спасибо большое. Это все.
Здравствуйте, добрый день всем. Уважаемые коллеги, тема выступления – это текущее состояние цифровых маркетинговых технологий в странах БРИКС. Маркетинговые технологии или маркетинг представляют собой пересечение маркетинга и технологии. Эта концепция в первую очередь предложен и активно продвигается Скотт Блинкер, который ежегодно публикует обновленную версию Martech Map на свой сайт Shift Martech. Эта карта охватывает глобальное количество Martech-сервисов и отражает динамичное развитие и разнообразие инструментов, доступных на рынке. Теперь, когда мы рассмотрели концепцию Martech, давай обратим внимание на его сегментацию. Shift Martech предложил одну из самых распространенных классификаций Martech, которая включает 6 ключевых направлений. Эти категории охватывают все важнейшие аспекты маркетинговых технологий, начиная от контента и взаимодействия с клиентами до управления данными и маркетинговыми функциями. Дополнительно стоит отметить, что в России публикуется своя версия карта Martech, созданная компанией Data Insight, которая включает дополнительные категории и особенности, характерные для российского рынка. Теперь давайте перейдем к глобальной тенденции на рынке Martech. Как мы видим, количество доступных Martech-продуктов значительно возросло. В настоящее время на рынке представлено более 14 тысяч инструментов, что отражает динамичное развитие этой сферы. Среднегодовые темпы роста с момента появления первой карты составляет 41%. И стоит отметить, что в России также активно развиваются маркетинговые технологии. В России ежегодно публикуется карта «Экосистема электронной торговли» от компании Data Insight. В первой версии карты 2019 года было представлено 690 сервисов, а в экосистеме 2024 года вошли 1333 самостоятельных продукта под оригинальными брендами от 920 проектов. Рост количества новых игроков за последние годы составляет 117. И на этом графике мы видим сравнение доходов от рынка Martech в странах БРИКС – Китай, Индия, Бразилия и Южной Африке в 2023 году и прогноз на 2003 год. Мы видим, что Китай занимает лидирующие позиции, однако Индия демонстрирует наибольший рост с прогнозируемым увеличением на 25%. Темпы роста в Бразилии и Южной Африке, хотя и ниже, но также важны для анализа. Существующие исследования в Китае сосредоточены на применении Martech в влиянии отраслях, особенно в сельскохозяйственной электронной коммерции и управлении гостиничными бизнесом. В Индии основное внимание уделяется на применению и развитию искусственного интеллекта, анализа данных и автоматизации в розничной торговле и электронной коммерции. Бразильские исследования сосредоточены на гибких маркетинговых стратегиях и применении искусственного интеллекта. А в южноафриканские исследования фокусируются на росте цифровых реклам, развитии электронной коммерции и цифровой трансформации потребительского поведения. Спасибо за внимание.
Hello, I'm Danial Khataei. I'm a Ph.D. student at the Higher School of Economics, where I research Iran-ASEAN relations. Iran plays a big role in the global narcotics trade, primarily due to its geographic position along one of the world's significant drug trafficking routes. As Afghanistan remains the largest producer of opium and its derivative heroin, traffickers rely on Iran as a major transit corridor for smuggling these substances to international markets, particularly Europe, the Middle East, and Asia. The eastern border with Afghanistan and Pakistan, combined with Iran's extensive road networks and access to maritime routes via the Persian Gulf and Sea of Oman, makes it an important hub for drug transportation. The drug trafficking networks exploit corruption, economic hardships, and local tribal affiliations to ensure the smooth movement of narcotics despite government crackdowns. Iranian organized crime groups, although less globally dominant than their Latin American or Eurasian counterparts, are deeply embedded in regional trafficking networks. They are particularly active in smuggling of opium, heroin, and methamphetamine, with the latter becoming increasingly significant in recent years due to Iran's domestic production capabilities. Iranian criminal organizations collaborate with Pakistani, Turkish, and even European crime syndicates to facilitate shipments, often using maritime routes or overland corridors. Over the past 25 years, Southeast Asia has witnessed significant growth of drug trafficking and consumption. The region remains a global hotspot for production and trafficking of drugs, particularly meth, which has overtaken heroin as the most widely abused and profitable narcotic. The so-called Golden Triangle, Myanmar, Laos, and Thailand, remains the epicenter of meth production, with transnational crime syndicates refining production and expanding distribution to global markets, including Australia, Japan, and even the Middle East. Heroin, though declining in importance compared to late 20th century, continues to be trafficked from Myanmar's Shan state to regional, international markets. Ecstasy and ketamine have also gained prominence, often manufactured in labs within the ASEAN region, catering to urban youth populations. Governments in the region have responded with varying degrees of intensity, ranging from harsh anti-drug laws, such as capital punishment in Singapore and in Indonesia, to more reformist approaches, such as Thailand's recent decriminalization of cannabis. Iranian organized crime networks play a role in Southeast Asia, albeit less prominently than in Europe or Middle East. Most notable connection is the trafficking of Afghan heroin through Iran, destined for markets in Malaysia and Indonesia, where demand remains high. Iranian smugglers often operate as couriers or mid-level traffickers and have been arrested in these countries numerous times, and their involvement in regional distribution networks is well known and acknowledged by local authorities. Iran-ASEAN cooperation on drug trafficking has evolved from limited diplomatic engagement to a more structured law enforcement coordination, driven by the transnational expansion of narcotics trade. Initially, ASEAN countries treated Iran primarily as a transit point for Afghan heroin, but engaged only minimally due to political issues. However, as Iranian traffickers became more active in Southeast Asia, particularly in Malaysia and Indonesia, ASEAN states began viewing Iran not only as a source of a problem, but as a potential partner. Cooperation remained mostly indirect through the UN mechanisms such as Office of Drug and Crime, with limited bilateral engagements. A major shift occurred after the 2011 Mekong River massacre, when 13 Chinese sailors were executed by a Myanmar-based gang linked to the Golden Triangle drug trade. The incident prompted unprecedented Chinese pressure on ASEAN to crack deck on regional drug networks, because Beijing viewed the expansion of Southeast Asian syndicates as a security threat. This led to a broader reassessment of regional counter-narcotics strategies inside ASEAN to strengthen enforcement, intelligence sharing, and border security. Given that Chinese organized crime had been dominant in regional drug trafficking, particularly in meth, ASEAN countries had to counterbalance this influence. As a result, ASEAN's approach to narcotics enforcement became more aggressive, not only in response to domestic concerns, but due to external diplomatic pressure. Iran, which had long engaged in its own anti-narcotics operations due to flows from Afghanistan, found itself increasingly cooperating with ASEAN states on intelligence exchanges, controlled deliveries, and joint investigations. However, this was not due to a strategic alignment, but rather as a part of ASEAN's broader effort to curb all major drug networks, including those tied to Iran. The emerging de facto ASEAN drug control regime is categorized by a pragmatic legal cooperation rather than formal institutional alignment. Unlike Europe's harmonized legal frameworks, Iran and ASEAN states operate within diverse legal states that range from Islamic laws in Iran, which impose several severe punishments, including the death penalty, to ASEAN's varied approaches, from harsh punitive measures in countries like Indonesia and Singapore to more reformist drug policies in Thailand and Malaysia. This divergence in legal frameworks prevents the creation of a unified Iran-ASEAN drug control structure, leading to an adaptive case-by-case approach centered on extradition agreements, mutual legal assistance treaties, and informal law enforcement cooperation through the UN Office of Drug and Crime Mechanisms. The legal focus is on interoperability rather than direct legal harmonization, allowing each state to maintain sovereignty over domestic drug laws while collaborating on transnational enforcement. To bridge these differences, Iran and ASEAN rely on functional legal mechanisms that are guided by ASEAN's work plan on securing communities against illicit drugs, prioritizing regional cooperation, and precursor chemical control, which align with Iran's strict anti-narcotic enforcement policies. While Iran lacks formal integration into these ASEAN drug initiatives, it engages through bilateral and multilateral channels, focusing on disrupting the trafficking networks and avoiding extradition disputes where Iranian suspects face the death penalty in ASEAN states, or vice versa. This allows for cooperation without necessitating full legal convergence. The UNODC, Interpol, and regional drug enforcement networks serve as intermediaries for this cooperation. Ultimately, this de facto regime functions through selective engagement, when shared interests such as disrupting the trafficking networks and flow of heroin drive cooperation despite legal disparities. The symphony between Iran and ASEAN's drug policies is not formal legal integration, but mutual recognition of transnational threats and strategic alignment of enforcement actions. This approach enables ASEAN to uphold their regional frameworks while selectively engaging with Iran in areas of cooperation, mainly intelligence sharing, logistical coordination, and targeted enforcement efforts. Cooperation on fighting drug trafficking has been an area of interest to BRICS for a long time. Key initiatives in this regard are the establishment and regular convening of the BRICS Anti-Drug Working Group. This platform serves as a central mechanism for member states to exchange information, discuss emerging trends, and coordinate joint efforts in combating drug-related threats. The 7th meeting of the BRICS Anti-Drug Working Group took place in Moscow in May 2024. Notably, this was the first in-person meeting of the group since 2017, suggesting a renewed emphasis on direct engagement among member states. Previous meetings, such as the 5th meeting, held virtually under India's chairmanship in 2021, focused on critical issues like maritime drug trading and drug trafficking and the misuse of darknets and other modern technologies. Similarly, the fourth session in 2020, chaired by Russia, also addressed the increasing use of technology in drug trafficking and the need to curb trafficking via maritime routes. Iran-ASEAN cooperation on drug trafficking offers pragmatic operational models that could significantly inform and strengthen future BRICS anti-drug agreements, particularly in addressing transnational challenges through flexible and regionally attuned mechanisms. From Iran's perspective, its informal drug control regime with ASEAN, prioritizing prisoner exchanges, interagency cooperation, and integrated intelligence provides actionable framework for BRICS to adopt. For instance, Iran's pursuit of prisoner exchange agreements with ASEAN states, despite divergent legal systems, demonstrates a practical workaround to jurisdictional differences and conflicts that often hinder cross-border law enforcement. BRICS, which includes states with varying legal traditions, civil law in Russia and China versus common law in South Africa and India, could institutionalize similar agreements to expedite justice and reduce diplomatic friction. This would align with BRICS' emphasis on security without borders while respecting sovereignty, a balance critical for multilateral trust. Moreover, Iran-ASEAN information exchange between drug control agencies and joint operations via Interpol highlights the value of decentralizing cooperation while maintaining interoperability. ASEAN's regional narcotics monitoring networks, combined with Iran's expertise in interdiction along high-risk trafficking corridors, including the Balkans and the Silk routes, could inspire BRICS to establish a dedicated task force or digital platform for real-time data sharing. Such a system would enhance predictive policing and resource allocation across BRICS territories from diverse geographical boundaries. Iran's use of Interpol as a neutral facilitator for joint operations offers a template for BRICS to mitigate geopolitical tensions that occasionally strain its internal cohesion. The integration of intelligence on money laundering, terrorism, and human trafficking within Iran-ASEAN cooperation directly addresses the interconnected nature of illicit economies, a gap BRICS has yet to fully systematize. Iran's intelligence fusion cells, which map financial flows between drug cartels and militant groups, could inform BRICS's nascent efforts to combat organized crime syndicates that exploit gaps in global governance. By adopting Iran-ASEAN's multidisciplinary approach, BRICS could develop a unified analytical framework to disrupt criminal ecosystems holistically rather than treating drug trafficking as a siloed issue. This would resonate with Russia and China's security priorities in Central Asia and the Golden Triangle, where narcotics often fund separatist movements and destabilize regional security. Finally, Iran-ASEAN legal consultations on drug couriers, a response to jurisdictional ambiguities and procedural disparities could guide BRICS in harmonizing legal standards for prosecuting traffickers. For example, ASEAN's regional guidelines on evidence collection and extradition, refined through engagement with Iran, might inspire BRICS to draft model legislation or mutual legal assistance protocols. This would reduce delays in prosecutions and deter criminals from exploiting legal loopholes across BRICS jurisdictions. Such cooperation would also bolster India and South Africa's advocacy for equitable burden sharing in counter-narcotics, ensuring smaller or resource-constrained states are not disproportionately impacted by enforcement cuts. That's all from my presentation. Thank you for your attention.
My top topic of presentation is the expansion of BRICS, looking at the opportunities and challenges in the political sphere. First of all, before going or delving into the topic, I would like to make a synopsis of the historical context of BRICS, that is from the theoretical perspective into a diplomatic reality. That is way back in 2001 when Jim O'Neill has posited in his work the need for a BRICS. A BRIC is an acronym that simply means Brazil, Russia, India, China, and later the addition of South Africa that brings the letter S. And with time also it has been expanded. We learned that other countries also have recently joined. Tentatively, we have member states of almost 10. Going into its objectives, opportunities and challenges, in the political hemisphere, it looks like BRICS is a tournament that comprises different teams. So looking at BRICS, it has a team comprising of different talented players based on the different geographical locations, ranging from almost all the key continents in the southern hemisphere. Looking at the expansion of BRICS and the path to the evolution of BRICS and the path to expansion, BRIC Alliance initially comprises Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, has progressively expanded its agenda beyond economic cooperation to encompass political, security, and cultural dimensions. This evolution reflects the group's aspiration to challenge traditional Western-dominated international structure and order that advocate for a more equitable multipolar world order. And also, if you look at its objectives, opportunities of BRICS in the political hemisphere, the enlargement of BRICS creates substantial opportunities for reshaping global governance. As a collective entity, BRICS now commands the impressive economic leverage, representing approximately half of the world population. And the Southern Hemisphere has a population of almost 40% of the world population. And also, the Southern Hemisphere also have 40% of crude oil production and export. So if BRICS has tactically played their card well, definitely that economic might will be transformed into political capital, where they will dominate the international order in terms of politics, in terms of dominance, and in terms of other vital aspects globally. So the composition, because simply the composition has countries of all geographical locations with natural resources, with emerging economics and other advancements in the world. So if they are able to come together to form a multipolar organization, I believe that will definitely bring some positive aspects in terms of global world order. And also, one of the primary objectives lies in BRICS' ability to challenge the structural advantage that advanced market democracies have traditionally enjoyed. The bloc has taken concrete steps to reduce the ability of the United States and its allies to withstand global interdependency, because most of the international organizations are Western-centric. Simply, it means it is dominated by Western ideologies, Western civilizations, Western identities and cultures. So if BRIC as an international organization or an international branch that encompasses all the emerging economies and some African countries, I believe will try to mitigate that international interdependency on Western-dominated institutions. And BRICS expansion also create opportunity for more inclusive global governance that better represent developing nations. The BRICS initiative specifically targets broader participation of Global South in international decision-making, because most of the member states, they were one time in other international organizations that are dominantly controlled by the Western civilization. So they, after realizing that their voices, their perspectives have been marginalized and underrepresented, that's why some of them have necessitated the need to join BRICS in order for their voices to be heard, and in order also for their decisions to be considered and their aspirations to be considered globally. Going into the challenges of BRICS in the global hemisphere, the expansion of BRICS to include additional members has generated significant interest in its potential to receive global governance structure. Yet this enlargement presents formidable political challenges that could limit the bloc's effectiveness. And number one is divergent political systems and governance. Each of these member states of BRICS has their own governance systems, their own political systems. So you will understand that there might be some a kind of challenge in trying to make a consensus on something that they all will agree onto, particularly on normative issues like human rights and other things, because each has their own political system and governance or mode of operandi in terms of governance as countries. So that will be a challenge. And the emerging bloc is a combination of diverse political governance model, which could complicate the formulation of coherent nominative positions in attempt to develop a unified position on contentious geopolitical questions. For instance, if this difference in political value could manifest a consequential tension with BRICS in its approach to addressing nominative issues central to international relations. Number two, also cultural barrier to cohesion and communication. BRICS is unlike other Western-dominated institutions where they have the same or similar civilizational identities, values. So BRICS, you understand that it is a combination of different civilizations, from the Cynic civilization to the African civilization to the Islamic civilization and other, like to the Orthodox civilization. So there might be a class of civilization in terms of ideologies and identities that could be a potential challenge in trying to bring cohesion and consensus among BRICS member states. And the other one is divergency in development interests and aspirations, because it is a combination of different countries with different levels of developmental aspirations and advancements in terms of technology, in terms of other development aspirations. So it will be very difficult for all the member states to go at the same level in terms of developmental interests and aspirations. For instance, countries like Ethiopia, South Africa, may want to aspire a developmental agenda that might be different from other advanced countries like Russia, like China, and India. So that might be a potential challenge to the advancement of BRICS as an international institution rather. The third one is power asymmetric among member states. Because in my local language, we have a saying that he who feeds you decides for you. So if the advanced countries like China and other advanced countries within its member states have that political might and power, so in terms of decision making, there might be imbalance in trying to strive to a general consensus or agreement. And the last one, that is the theoretical framework explaining the opportunities of BRICS in the political hemisphere. The symbiotic relationship framework provides a compelling theoretical perspective for understanding BRICS dynamic. That is because it is symbiotic in a sense, it's a combination of different countries with different geographical locations and with different level of equipment in terms of natural resources. So I believe the combination of all those countries together to form an international institution will be of immense importance in terms of sharing or in terms of reciprocating natural resources, and also in terms of sharing ideologies in trying to stir development among all those member countries. Why I call it as in the political hemisphere, because simply each formation has arose rising different global critics ranging from Western side to other aspects, because many believe that, particularly from the Western perspective, that the coming of BRICS is nothing but trying to undermine the dominance of Western ideologies, and also in trying to control the geopolitical tournament of the world. So that makes it interesting in the political aspect platform of it. And that's the end of the presentation. I thank you very much.
Today I want to represent about Ethiopian role in BRICS. The addition of Ethiopia member of BRICS marks a significant step in a country's economy and diplomatic trajectory. For years, Ethiopia has sought a stronger and more independent role in global economy. Its accession to BRICS is a result of its fast-growing economy, strategic geopolitical position, and increasing influence in Africa. This new membership brings opportunities and challenges that could reshape Ethiopia's future. This presentation explores the benefits Ethiopia can gain from BRICS, the challenge it must address, and how it can strategically position itself within this economic alliance. From this trade, technological cooperation, BRICS presents a significant opportunity for Ethiopia development, provided it navigates them effectively. When we come to the Ethiopia's economic position and strategic importance, Ethiopia is one of the Africa's fastest growing economy, with an average annual GDP growth rate over 6%. Despite being largely agrarian, Ethiopia has made progress in industrialization, technology, and infrastructure. When it comes to the challenge, the first one is local currency shortage and high inflation, and also reliance on imports. BRICS membership provides Ethiopia with new investment and credit sources, reducing dependency on Western financial institutions. When we come to the bridge between Africa and BRICS nation, Ethiopia location in the Horn of Africa position it has a trade and investment gateway. As a BRICS member, Ethiopia can facilitate trade between BRICS and other African nations, enhancing intra-Africa economic integration. Shifting towards a multipolar world, global financial institutions like the IMF and World Bank have traditionally shaped the global economy. BRICS offer a new geopolitical and economic model emphasizing diversification and autonomy. Ethiopia BRICS membership align with its goal of strengthening its global influence. When we come to the opportunity for Ethiopia in BRICS, the first one is export growth, the second one is improved market access, and the third one is diversified trade partners. When we come to the export growth, Ethiopia can export more agriculture goods, textiles, and industrial products to China, India, and Russia. When we come to the improved market access, BRICS membership can reduce trade barriers and enhance Ethiopian product competitiveness. Diversified trade partners, reducing reliance on Western economy, creates economic stability. When we come to the investment in infrastructure and industrialization, the Belt and the Road Initiative, Chinese investment in Ethiopia transport infrastructure like road, railways, and ports, industrial growth, BRICS nations can help expand Ethiopia manufacturing sector and industrial parks. The access to BRICS financial institution, alternative funding sources for large infrastructure project without IMF and World Bank constraints. When we come to the collaboration in science, technology and innovation, digital economy and AI partnership with India and China can advance Ethiopia digital transformation. Technology transfer BRICS collaboration can enhance technological capacity, and academic cooperation research partnership with BRICS university can strengthen Ethiopia higher educational sector. The financial and monetary cooperation, de-dollarization, BRICS promote the use of local currencies, reducing Ethiopia dependency on the US dollar, and the alternative financial support. BRICS banks provide the funding with fewer restriction than Western institution. The energy and food security, renewable energy development, Ethiopia hydropower potential aligned with BRICS sustainable goals, agriculture modernization collaboration with BRICS countries can enhance Ethiopia's food security and agriculture productivity. When we come to the challenges Ethiopia face in BRICS, the economy limitation and structural issues. Agriculture remain dominant while industrial growth is still emerging. High debt from infrastructure project presents financial risks. The policy alignment and governance. Ethiopia must streamline investment policy and reduce bureaucratic barriers to attract BRICS investment. The balance global diplomacy. Ethiopia must maintain a positive relation with Western nation while defending BRICS ties. Technology and digital gaps. Ethiopia must investment in digital infrastructure, increase internet penetration, and improve technological literacy. The last one is the strategic recommendation. BRICS membership offer Ethiopia access to new markets, financing, and technology. Realizing these benefits require strategic planning, industrialization, and balanced diplomacy. The action steps for Ethiopia: strengthen trade value, industrial growth, develop value-added industries to enhance export competitiveness, negotiate favorable trade agreement with BRICS. The second one is leverage financial alternative, utilize BRICS financial institution for concessional funding, expand local currency swap arrangement to reduce real line on US dollar. The third one is investment and technology and innovation, strengthens Ethiopia digital economy and green technology with BRICS support increased funding for research and technology development. The fourth one is maintain diplomatic balance, engage with both BRICS and Western nations to maintain global partnership, adopt pragmatic approach international politics. Ethiopia entry into BRICS as a strategic move that could accelerate its economy transformation. However, realizing its fully potential will require addressing key structural and policy challenges. By effectively navigate this dynamic, Ethiopia can emerge as a vital player in the global economy and strengthen its long economic security. Thank you for this meaningful discussion. I really thank you. I really want to thank you for organizers. Thank you very much.
I want to present my paper on role of BRICS in shaping the polycentric world order. So I am a research scholar at the Center for Russian and Central Asian Studies in Jawaharlal Nehru University. The changing nature of BRICS, which the BRICS evolved in this year after the 2023, it's like BRICS have included almost 35% of the population of the world, and almost BRICS have engaged in the performing non-Western centric world order. The establishment of the BRICS in 2009, where the mostly 5 countries, the main participants is Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. So after that, the enlargement of BRICS still not happen till 2022. Then the rising of BRICS take place at the 2023, when the most of the members, most of the developing country and the developed country want to apply for the BRICS membership, where Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, and Ethiopia, Iran has already applied. Still, there is a 2-3 member that doesn't get accepted for the BRICS membership. Now the BRICS membership enlarged to 5 to 9 membership. So we can say that the rising BRICS can counter the Western dominated entities like International Monetary Fund and the World Bank. The rising New Development Bank that established in 2015 for providing infrastructure and sustainable development project in the member countries and beyond, offer a quite strengthening constraint to the Western dominance, Western institution that are providing sometimes that are creating the and the poor economic infrastructure developed countries. So additionally, the after the NDB established, there is establishment of contingent reserve arrangement, which is provide a safety net for the members as well as for the global liquidity pressure, because previously the dollar is working as a global liquidity pressure, and most of the things are the American standard and American setup, are under the American setup and the Marshall Plan. So the rising BRICS can provide alternative to the country to come in their own way and to work under their own way. I have make this whole circle for the evolution of BRICS. It's the first BRIC consortium, then rising of the BRICS Plus, then the analyzing of the multipolar world system, then the BRICS objective. The objective of BRICS, we can say that it's a main objective with trade and investment corporation and the cooperation and the political influence and global governance, because we can say that United Nations is already working as a defunct, and it's most of the it influenced by the most of the institute of the European countries and America. So there is need of alternate political and global governance which BRICS can provide. So we can also say that BRICS, which reduce Western hegemony by providing some certain development bank and some certain multipolar world order, we can say that BRICS is working on their objective. We are talking about the polycentric world order, because polycentric world order is the we can say the polycentric world order is the place where multiple institution can interact with the countries, where one institution is not basis for the development of others, and where is the you can say that development of underdevelopment will not be possible in the polycentric world order, because there is not completely dependent on any countries. So Russia and of the BRICS and enlarged BRICS are providing a certain way to counter this development of underdevelopment, which is the most phenomenon of the neocolonialism. So after that, we can there is rising global south, because we the all the perspective of the Western nation is their perspective are mostly written and mostly mostly established on us by their Western institutions. So BRICS also provide a space for the global south to south interaction and cooperation, where we can talk about the rising BRICS Plus, where the new members Egypt and Ethiopia, which are the previously the member of non-alignment movement, and rising the BRICS role in the rising BRICS is now playing the role um, in the African countries where still the situation is not good, where the situation is not feasible for a healthy and a standard life. And through BRICS have provided infrastructure investment like through NDB and BRICS finances, also infrastructure, energy and technological projects in Africa, Asia and Latin America. The Latin America, which were previously the part of the great game between the America and the Britain and the mostly Western developed countries, now playing a major role in through BRICS countries. Like Cuba is still not the member of BRICS, but it's have a good relation with the Russia. It's have a good relation with the India. Brazil, which is the permanent member of the BRICS, have a good relation with India. We have a good relation with the Russia, where they can now provide a voice to the global South and the voice of the CBD. We can say that voice of the CBD, I think common but differentiated responsibility, where the responsibilities are mostly beared by the Western nation because of their problems, their colonial activities, their previously all the work. So BRICS is providing a major space for the growth of the global South and the reforming global governance. BRICS is the platform where we can say that it's provide a platform for the reforming in the United Nations reform, where the pushing for the new UN Security Council member will happen in future if all new pressure will come from the global South region. And the G20, we can say that the G20 which happen in the India also, it's provide a great achievement in the new emerging digital economy and trade. Also, alternative multilateralism, where the BRICS play as a role in the Shanghai Cooperation Organization (SCO) and the Eurasian Economic Union. BRICS provide also include all the countries that are the part of the Central Asia. Because it's not a it's you can say that BRICS is not just like it's a dialogue between two or five or 10 countries. It's like it's more than that. It's measure a Eurasian space. In the future, it can include the Eurasian space in its orbit, and the technological and strategic autonomy within their because we country as a India and Russia have a much space cooperation and semiconductor and AI development. Also we have some problems with China on the border, but we have a good relation on the trade and development activities. So sometimes there may be problems related to the borders and securities, but we can say that these are the factor where we can counter the Western perspective and support and avail our global South perspective through countering the NATO and the security counterbalances through the providing a new security framework in the international relation. BRICS, I can say that BRICS, major role of the BRICS after all these things can be divided in the three things: economics initiative and financial institution, trade and investment corporation and cooperation, political influence in global governance. We can say that impact of the polycentric world order. We have five structure for the countering the Western hegemony. First is technological and strategic autonomy, strengthening global South and South cooperation, shaping economic multipolarity, security and counterbalance to NATO. NATO is influencing their wings in all the areas of the world almost. The joining of the NATO of new member of Finland and Sweden is threatening our allies Russia. And these things are all also framing the new narrative in the international relation, where we can counter through the BRICS new arrangement in the security cooperation, and also in the including the areas of the ASEAN countries in the new, and also the area that are never be the part of the mainstream. That's that region of some Asian countries, and some region of the Latin American countries, and some region of African countries, where BRICS is playing a major role, and reforming the global governance, where the voice of unheard to be heard, where the voice of our global south to be heard, where we can, where BRICS can provide a platform where we can deal with the other representative of the other institution, and where the multilateralization will be provided to the to deal with all the new issue, where our voice must be kept without the Western narrative and Western perspective. So this new development we can see in the BRICS 2024 in the Kazan, where almost the leader from the every corner of the world are there and participated in the rising BRICS. So we can say that Russia is moving toward the new world economy formation and new security pattern formation. We as a country, we as a ally of the Russia, we as a member of the BRICS partnership, focus on the new perspective and a more balanced distribution of power, not like a purely geopolitical game that is playing below the like a billiard ball model, or so we are working on the curve wave model, where every voice must be heard, and there is must a dependent relation between every country, where war will be not inevitable. So thank you for my presentation.